Hey, Pete.
Hello.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much for being here. This is going to be archived, of course, for Van Haven, and also we're going to show snippets of it on the Learn Ventriloquism blog. And Pete Michaels.
Yes, that's me.
You are a dang lucky man. We'll get into that in a few minutes, but
In a lot of respects, I'm fortunate, thankfully.
you are. Got a beautiful family,
That's the first respect.
and you're here.
That's the second respect.
So, let's talk about your career. You just told me here that we're at the Van Haven Convention, and you said this is your 34th year here.
Yeah, first one was 1980. I was 22 years old and had hair like Paul Stanley from Kiss and a body like that. Now I look like Gene Simmons. But yeah, that was my introduction. Actually, I was into Vent as a little kid, with the Jimmy Nelson commercials and Paul Winchell Mahoney time. My parents got me from, I think it was Montgomery Ward catalog, a little Juro Danny, and I played with him and had little instructions. I didn't really want to learn Vent back then. I just wanted a little pal, because I was an only child. And so did some shows with that in grammar school, and then gravitated more towards the music and theater in high school, and came back to it in '78 when the movie Magic came out. I went to see it in Manhattan, and I was like, wow, that is the coolest puppet I've ever seen. So next door to the theater was Tannen's Magic Store up on the 14th floor. I went up there and said, you have any books on ventriloquism? And Jack Ferrero, who was one of the guys running it, he says, you just saw the movie, didn't you? I said, yeah, I want to really, really learn now, really learn. So I got Paul Stadelman's book, Ventriloquism Today, and just read it to death. I was a payroll clerk in Manhattan at the time, and I'd ride the Staten Island ferry every day back and forth to Manhattan. My friends would go, what are you reading? Ventriloquism? What is that all about? I said, no, I'm finally learning how to do this the right way. Like, for what? I said, I want to do this. Everybody thought I was weird, and we still haven't gotten that stigma away. And that's where it started. And then I got a hold of Mark Wade through the New Oracle and found out about the convention. And 1980, I came down. I drove down with Al Seamock, who made my first figure, Gitch. And in my unair-conditioned Chevy van, it was me, Al Seamock, and Todd Stockman. We drove down together, 12 hours straight through, and went to the museum and just fell in love with it. And it's been a 34-year love affair.
You're on the board of advisors for
Yes.
the museum.
Yeah.
And how did that come about?
That was, you have to be recommended by somebody to get on the board. I don't exactly know who recommended me, but I know that John Brookings Sr. Got a hold of me, sent me a letter, said, we would like to have you on board of the advisory board. I was tickled to death. I said, okay, I'd love to, the ultimate honor, because coming to the museum, the convention all these years, and helping out wherever I could, because whether Mark was running the convention or Al Seamock or whoever, Johnny Main, I said, look, whatever you need, I'm here. I'm here to help. Call on me. I don't want to just say I pay my money and I want to go to lecture. I said whatever I can do to help. I don't care what it is. I'll help out. Mm-hmm. And I guess coming as many years as I did and having the interest and doing my research on the museum and the figures and stuff like that, someone felt that I would make a good asset to the board, and I'm so honored to have been a part of it and still be a part of it.
Well, it's an incredible honor for you, and
it is.
It's a very interesting mix of ventriloquists doing that, and you've made some lifelong friends through that.
Yeah. You try to tell people you're going to a ventriloquist convention, they don't know what you're talking about. You're trying to explain to us, listen, 500 to 600 of us get together at a hotel, and we have lectures and workshops and dealers' rooms and things, and they're like, okay. And then the first thing, does Jeff Dunham go to these things? Does Terry Fader go? I said, yes, they go. I said, they're responsible for getting the art out of, I don't want to say out of the shadows, because there was a lull there for a while. Jeff and Terry were the guys who took this art from being kind of a mediocre, I do kid shows and stuff like that. And I tell people, the only ventriloquist most people would remember was the last bad one that they saw. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, at one time, there were more bad ones than good ones, because they really didn't work on manipulation or lip control or characters, or they just get up and, as Johnny Main used to say, fatsa, fatsa, fatsa. And people are like, oh God, this guy was horrible. I don't want to go see another ventriloquist. Oh, no. But guys like Jeff and Terry and Jay Johnson and Willie Tyler that are still out there working and doing they've kind of opened up the floodgates for the kids
Yeah.
who want to do this now. For a while, we couldn't get kids here. You had a few, but now it's like my son and his friends, all the young guys that are coming up, that's the next generation. And it's so good to see
Oh,
so many kids doing this now.
It's an incredible thing. I remember the first year we were in here, we walked out of the showroom, and here was a whole table full of kids,
Just
all sitting
jumping
around, talking, and
Yeah.
sharing their puppets and doing all that.
Just like we did, when I first came down here at the old drawbridge, in memory of, we would. My dad loved this stuff. He got it. My mom didn't get it. My dad got it. Rest his soul. He gave me the money for Gitch. He said, "Look, I'll spot you. Don't worry about it." And he really understood everything. And when I came back and I told him, I says, "Yeah," I says, we hang out till 4 or 5 in the morning. He goes, "What do you find to talk about until 5 in the morning at a convention that you're going to get up and go to lecture?" I says, "The stories, who knew Frank Marshall? Who knew W.S. Berger? They tell you stories about, I used to go visit W.S. at the house, and I go out to Chicago and see, Frank in the basement and blah, blah, blah. And you just listen to all of these things and you just eat it up. It's like a sponge." And my dad says, "Well, that's really good that they got that history and the guys are willing to share." And I said, "Yeah, nobody keeps all this to themselves. If you want to hear about it, they'll tell you. If you want to know, they'll tell you."
Big thing about this convention, and the people who don't attend it, they just don't get it.
No.
You don't get this kind of interaction on Facebook or
No,
on Skype or
no,
on the phone.
no.
It's just a whole different experience.
Absolutely. There's nothing like in your face, one-on-one. We got the Junior Vent University, which is a wonderful thing. I'm helping Liz out with this year.
Great.
It's a wonderful thing because now you've got these kids, and I don't like calling them kids, these young people, that they have such ideas because their minds aren't clogged with bills and responsibilities and this and that. So they're free to just create. And I tell my son, and the other young guys, I just left them, in fact, I said, "Look, this is how Jeff started. You see the way you guys are just throwing ideas out?" I said, "That's how it starts, I said, "You guys are great because you come here once a year and you can share ideas and look at different figures together and get, different bits and stuff. That's what it's like. You're bouncing ideas off of each other." Mm-hmm. Every time my son comes home, he said, "Dad, I learned from this guy and we talked about that." So I said, "Well, good, apply that. Try some of it."
Mm-hmm.
When I was coming up, you had books and records. And that was it. There was nothing else. And then when I came to the convention and I met Bill Boley and I met Al Seamock and Johnny Main and John Arvidas and all these other, Mark Wade, all these guys that I always corresponded, through letters and stuff, finally meeting them and picking their brain. And, they loved it. It was like, "Yeah, I'll tell you what, you want to know about Frank Marshall? I'll tell you about Frank Marshall." Johnny Main had me sitting down for like 5 hours one day, just regaling me with these Frank Marshall things. And I'm like, "Really? Wow." He said, "On a good week, Frank Marshall could bang out a figure in a week.
Wow.
Start to finish." I said, "Get out." He goes, "I'm telling you." He could take the block of basswood when he was in his prime, and in a week have it painted.
Jeez.
I
That's
said,
amazing.
"You don't see that anymore."
Mm-mm. Not at all. It's what is it now? It's a 2-year wait period for almost everybody.
Or 10 years if
Which
you're
is
trying to
tough.
paint something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and that's what I love about the convention. It's just such a learning experience. People say, "Well, you're doing this how many years? What do you learn?" I said, "Every time I go, it's a learning experience. I'm learning from this guy and that guy." You see somebody do something, they put a little different spin on it and go, "That's clever. That never thought about that, but that's a clever way to do it."
Let's talk a little bit about your career. You started out, you got your figure, your first figure was Gitch?
Well, actually, the first one I got was from George Schindler at Showbiz Services in Brooklyn. It was a Howie Olson figure, Andrew Biggs it was called. And I had that, and it was nice, for the price. It was a good starter figure. I took that out to L.A. With some friends, was staying with them for a couple weeks, and I brought it around to different clubs and worked with them. And when I got home, the hand had broke, like right about here. And I said, "What this thing is made of? What is this?" And there was something called permatone, which was a molded material. It was plaster of Paris impregnated with cardboard and paper. And I said, "Well, this is not what I really wanted, Got the new oracles, and I found Alan Seamock, and he lived in Fords, New Jersey. I'm in Staten Island. It's about 35 minutes away. So I called him up. I said, "Listen," I said, "I got you from the new oracle." "Oh, yeah." I said, "I'm looking to have a figure made. How much, how long?" So he told me, he said, yeah, it'd be about a year. And I was like, a year? So then I learned to ask the question. I tell everybody, I said, well, do you have anything around that you're not using that you want to sell? He said, well, I have this head in a vise. You know what I mean. He said, it's just got a base coat on it with the strings hanging up, but it's got 2 winkers and side-to-side eyes, brown eyes. I said, well, can I come take a look at it? He goes, yeah. You know, went down there, and I looked at the head, and I was like, that's what I want. He says, oh, okay. He said, I can get it ready for you. I said, how long? He goes, 2 weeks. It'll be done. I said, all right. So now I'm like a kid Christmas Eve counting the minutes, you know, when? And I finally get there, and I walk down the basement. There he was sitting with the fresh wig and the paint and the clothes, and I was like, and I put my hand in the back on the head stick, and it was like I put it in a glove. It just fit. And I was like, and I started manipulating and doing it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I always dreamed of. This is it. So I brought him home and showed my parents, and my mother was like, okay, whatever. My father says, wow, it's really cool. I said, how my dad, how does he work? So I took the head stick and I took it out of the body and I showed him. He said, wow, that's ingenious. I said, yeah. I said, you're going to see the inside, all the pulleys. And I opened up the head. It's like, wow, he says, that's where the 600 went, right in there. I says, yeah, that's what it is. And he loved it. He came to see me at the Apollo, but we'll get to that. But yeah, that's where it started with Gitch, my first CMOC figure.
Started out, I guess, like a lot of people doing birthday parties or.
Actually, no. Well, when I was in grammar school playing with the Danny thing, I was just doing school things in the classroom, show and tells, and then family would come in the living room. Oh, Peter, get your puppet out. No, I don't want to go. Come on, show it. Yeah, come on. And I need Danny. Oh no, that's so cute. When I got Gitch, that was 1979. And I said, okay, now I want to get out there and start doing something with it. You know, I don't want to just sit in my room and practice. So there was a Holiday Inn in Staten Island that had gong shows on Thursday nights. Those of you who remember the old gong show with Chuck Barris.
You can YouTube it if you don't.
Yeah, go check it out. Luckily, I was better than those acts. So I went to the first gong show, and it was in the lounge, you know, and here's Pete Michaels and Gitch, and I come up and I'm pretty much doing the routine I did at the senior contest in 1980. Kind of cleanish, a little edgy, but they didn't want that. They wanted dirty.
Okay.
So it's a lounge. They're drinking, they're heckling, they're yelling, and of course I didn't win, you know. So I went home and I thought about it. I said, well, the guy who did win, he did impressions. I said, what did he do that I didn't do? Well, he kind of played to the crowd. He gave the crowd what they wanted. I said, you know, and I'm doing this semi-risque stuff, you know, not getting dirty, and it was like, it was dying. I said, well, maybe I'll spice it up a little bit and throw that on the wall and see if it sticks. Went back the next week, and I spiced it up a little bit. Now, they're laughing at everything, every punchline, every bit, because I threw in a few choice words where they belonged, and I won. They gave me a bottle of champagne, which I still have, from 1980. I never even opened it. It's probably vinegar by now. But I still have it in my office on the bookcase. And I came home and told my dad, I said, you know, he said, how'd it go? I said, well, it went better this week. I said, look what I got. Oh, that's great. You're going to drink it? I said, no, I think I'll save it for a souvenir. We'll just keep it like that. And I kept it all these years. Working kind of clubbish, nightclub stuff. Then I got a call to do a school, a grammar school PTA officer installation dinner. So I was all full of myself. You know, I'm a veteran now. I've done a few clubs. I asked the lady, I said, there going to be priests, rabbis, bishops, nuns, kids there? No. I can do adult material? Yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah. Okay, well, her idea of adult and my idea of adult were two different ideas of adult.
Ooh.
What she didn't tell me was the principal was going to be there, and he was this old codger. So I get up there. The local newspaper comes. They take a picture before the show. Me and the teachers, we're all smiling, you know. That's going to be in the paper tomorrow. Great. I get up there, and I start doing my club stuff. And I see the principal sitting at the table doing this. Now, everybody saw him do that. Nobody laughed at anything. No one even looked at me. 15 minutes of flop sweat. And thank you very much. I sit at the table with the parents, and one of the fathers leans over and goes, we thought you were hilarious. I said, well, why didn't you laugh? He goes, nobody else was laughing. I didn't want to start. The principal wasn't laughing. I'm like, great. So then I learned about how contagious fear of laughter is. But I learned a valuable lesson that day. When in doubt, keep it clean. That was the first time I learned that, and that's stuck ever since. And it just was a series of club performances, private things, little corporate things, American Legions and Knights of Columbus and those kind of things. Really wasn't doing it for a living, just was happy to be doing it. And then took a detour in '83 with the New York City Police Department, was a cop for 6 years, and went back to doing shows after that full time.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, Woody D.
Ah,
When did Woody?
my nemesis.
When did he come into the picture?
Woody D, I had Gitch from 1979 to 1984. I was using Pete Michaels and Gitch. That was the thing. Because I felt that, you had to have one figure that was your staple. Then I had this idea. I said, I'd like to add another character to the line. I'd come into the conventions every year and watching everything. And I said, I really would love to do another character, but I don't know what to do. So I got a hold of Ray Gwill. And I said, look, I want to have a character made. I said, it's kind of like this one you have that you're advertising, but I want it to be a black character. Can we, ethnicize him a little bit, for want of a better word? He said, yeah, we could do that. So I said, okay. And I got what turned out to be Woody D. I had the name picked out, everything picked out. Got him home, showed him to my dad. I started working with him in the bedroom, showing him what I was doing. And my dad, who was wise beyond his years, said, that's the one that's going to make you. I said, no, Dad, I got Gitch. Gitch is my main man. He says, I know you like Gitch. You've had Gitch. He goes, but that's the one that's going to put you on the map. I said, why do you feel that way? He goes, because you are completely opposite of each other. Not just in skin tone, but in character, in voice, in mannerism. He's the one. Because you're drawn to that figure just watching him. When watch you and Gitch, you're kind of watching both of you. But there's something about the character of Woody D that takes over. And people ask me, was Woody based on somebody? Woody was based on 3 people that I grew up with. A compilation of an old guy who lived next door to me, and they were all black, African American for you liberals. But they all had this way about them, like, don't tell me what to do. I'm my own person. I'm going to tell you what to do, and if you don't like it, well, that's too bad, And that's how the character Woody evolved. He just got into that whole thing about, yeah, I'm a black kid working with a white guy. I'm in charge. Watch me rip him to shreds. There was never anything racist about it, anything demeaning about it. It wasn't the old, like I've read about old vaudeville with the pickaninny dummy and stuff. None of that stuff, because I wouldn't allow it. I grew up in an ethnically mixed neighborhood, diverse, and I'm so glad about that too. We had everything. You name it, it was the UN, my neighborhood. We had everybody. So I learned from all these different cultures. Everybody had something to offer, to contribute. Mm-hmm. And when I did Woody, of course, there were always some people who looked at it and went, oh, what's that? Yeah, that black guy with a black top, that's not right. Until they saw the act, and then they were like, you know what? That's really funny. That character is so alive, I would swear he was breathing, and that, you're just there. He takes over. I said, well, that means I'm doing my job. Mm-hmm. If you can believe that he's real and that I'm just, the fall guy, once in a while I'll try to get one in on Woody and he'll just shoot me right down. But it's done in such a way that people say, do the black people laugh? I said, who has a problem with it? Uptight white people will look around the room and go, are the black people laughing? Are they laughing? And Woody will go, white people, relax. The brothers and sisters are laughing. Y'all could laugh too.
Yeah.
Okay, take it easy. All right? Get over yourselves. And it just spiraled from there. The offer started flying. To do the Apollo and all these other things.
Yeah, when that offer came in, how did you feel? I mean, you're walking into the Apollo.
Well, the place is a landmark. I mean, it's, I was doing a college show during the day in Manhattan at Baruch College. Guy saw me working with Woody, and I was ripping the crowd to shreds. They loved it. Mostly minority student. And he comes up to me afterwards, he says, that's really a clever act. Black guy, he says, that's a really clever act, you guys. I said, thank you. He said, would you like to be on Showtime at the Apollo? I said, amateur night? Forget that. He goes, no, I'm in a paid spot. I said, look, here's my card. If you can get me on the Apollo, I'll go. Long story short, did a few Laugh Thursdays, they called them, at the theater. Upstairs, they had their own production studios and big lounge, mock lounge setup. And they brought people in to watch different comedians. And they liked what I was doing. And they said, okay, we're going to get you on the TV show. All right, fine. Phone rings, casting director in L.A., hi, would like to come in? Would you be able to? Yeah, fine. Are you a member of the union after? I said, yeah, okay, good. So we're going to tape October, whatever it was. Fine. And the first show, I was with Sinbad that night. He was the host. And it just, we knew when it was going to air, so I sent out, cards and everything, and was at this club that my dad used to frequent because his friends owned it. And they had the big screen TV on and projection set. That's how long ago that was. And he told everybody, he says, listen, the owner said, look, he said, my friend over here is going to be on this TV show in about 5 minutes. So I want everybody to keep quiet when to turn it on. Okay. So that's how I saw it for the first time, in this club, on the big screen. And it was a thrill. And I saw my dad beaming. Mm-hmm. And I looked at him. He says, what'd I tell you? I says, you're right. You nailed it.
Character made you.
He knew it.
That is amazing. So you walked out on that stage. Now,
oh,
you walked out on that stage. I want you to tell us a little bit about this. I've heard the story, and I love it so much.
The first time I did it, when they went from the upstairs production downstairs, they did 2 Laugh Thursdays before we did the actual taping. And they said, look, we're going to bring you on the big stage. We're going to have a big audience out here tonight. They let them in for free. Just do your thing that you did upstairs. And okay. So a friend of mine had gone out. He was a transit cop, and he went by the comedy cop, and he was a brother. He went on stage. He was out there for 14 seconds. 14 seconds, and then the boo machine started. They started booing him.
Oh no!
And when 2,000 people are booing you, you can't even talk over them on the microphone. It's too loud. So he walks off, and I'm like, oh, God, I'm dead. So the stage manager said, oh, man, I saw you upstairs. You're going to rock these people. You and Woody D, man. They're going to love Woody. I said, okay, sure. I'm like Buddy Holly waiting in the wings, Playing out Pete Michaels and Woody D. And I come out, I walk out on stage, and the applause, they didn't know, because they hadn't seen the shows upstairs. The applause went from here to nothing. Now I'm hearing chirp, chirp, crickets, And in the balcony, in the dark, because I can't see, there's lights everywhere, I hear this female voice, and she yells out, yo, why the dummy gots to be black? And I'm like, oh, God. Then I hear, yeah. And I'm like, oh, I'm dead. Here comes the boom machine. So I go into Woody mode. You do this so long enough. The character just takes over that side of your brain. Yes, we're schizo. So I have Woody look around. I knew where it came from. I heard where it came from. He's looking around. He looks up and he goes, yo, baby, you up in them nosebleed seats. For your information, the dummy's white. And they went crazy. Then it was like, okay, I got to have him start ripping me up. And that's what he did. He started picking on me. Nice shirt you got on there. I'll make you feel at home. Ding, 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 ding. And they laughed at everything. And I got off and everybody was like, home run. You're definitely going to do that on the TV show, And that was a big hurdle to get over that, because if they had booed me, I don't know what would have happened. Mm-hmm. Like Terry Fader when he got the 2 X's.
Yep.
One more, he was history.
Yep.
But the gods up above said, no, let him go through. Same thing with this. Let him go through. They liked it.
At one point, Woody D turned white.
Became Whitey D.
Yeah, you got that Michael Jackson Caucasian kid.
Yeah, oh God.
I'll probably get yelled at for that.
That's okay. Who cares? What are you going to write your letter?
Write the letter.
Yeah. I was this college agent, whom I won't mention, signed me on with Woody and started booking me around town. Okay, and different colleges around the country. Everything was going fine. Then I think it was the Rodney King thing happened. And there was a lot of tension going on in certain circles about certain things. And they got cold feet. And they said, if you had a white puppet, it probably could get your work a lot easier than if you had Woody. I said, wow, that sucks. Because I had two Woodies. I had a backup. And I said, all right, maybe I'll just paint one white and we'll call him Buddy, you know. So now I had to write a whole new act because all the other stuff with Woody was black kid, hip hop references, you know, and white guy, and I had to write a whole new act. And I sat down and I wrote for this little Italian kid from Brooklyn. Hey, I'm Buddy. How you doing over there? What's up? Get the whole new act, get the new puppet, painted it up myself. Went to their office, showed him everything. He said, well, you know, things are kind of slow right now. Why don't we just, you know, write out the contract and just call it a day? I said, wait a minute. You made me change my whole act. You know how hard it is to write a whole new act for a puppet? A new puppet, essentially a whole new character. I said, and now you're telling me the deal's off? Why? Well, you know, because this particular agency would go to artists like stuff through a goose. Mm-hmm. You're the flavor of the month, and now you're not anymore.
A lot of agents like that.
Oh, yeah. So I got really bitter, and I said, well, I've got Buddy now. What am I going to do? I got to work him. You know, I had essentially shelved Woody because of all of this fear that was going on. So I started working with Buddy. Well, before I know it, almost 20 years had gone by. And I said, it was like 18 years or something like that. And I said, why is Woody not doing anything? Then these guys came and did this Soul in a Suitcase documentary and won the Columbia Film Festival for Best Short Subject. And they said, whatever happened to Woody? Why is Woody? And that was the subject of the whole thing, how we became Woody D, how Woody D stopped being Woody D, how Woody D was retired, and bringing back Woody D, because the demand was there. But, you know, in this business, you get complacent. You get something that works and you stick with it, and you say, okay, well, this is working. But it didn't feel the same. When I got on stage with Buddy, it was not the same energy. It was like almost Woody, but it wasn't. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what? I'm going to bring him back because I miss doing him. I miss doing that character. And it was such a strong character. Like, I'll watch old videos of myself, you know, concert performances, and I'm going, what were you thinking? Why did you sell out like that? You know, because you thought they knew best? No, I know best. And that's when I learned that lesson. You know what's best for you. Don't worry about what other people think because they really don't get it. They're not inside here. They're not inside here. Only you know what you feel. You created this persona, this character. You know what it took to get him there. No one else knows that. You know, they can offer you advice, and I'll tell this to any budding ventriloquist. Follow your brain, follow your heart. If you feel that it's in your spirit to do this character, do it. Just make sure that it's acceptable to the public. Don't do something that's totally outrageous that nobody wants to see. But don't be swayed by anybody else's opinion but yours. Make yourself happy. You have to, you know, I mean, you spend a lot of money on these things. They're not cheap, you know. Especially if you create a character, and what, he's been on television, he's done this and that, and to suddenly just shelve him. You know, I felt like I committed a sacrilege, like he was like the stepchild all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. And I said, this is not right. I got to bring him back. So I did. I brought him back, and I haven't looked back.
Now, you were on Conan.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of television.
Enough.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, let's see. The first TV show I ever did was a nationally syndicated show called The Joe Franklin Show. It was out in New York City. And Joe Franklin is like this Mr. Television, movie, radio trivia guy. Started on the radio and got his own TV show. And it was always on like 1 in the morning. But it was on everywhere. So that was my first TV thing. And we talked about the great Gabbo and Stroheim and all these things and, you know, ventriloquism. And that was my first shot. That was 1989 or something like that. Then came the Apollo. Then came more Apollo. Then the Conan thing. We did a bunch of the ventriloquist choir thingies there. Then the Canadian TV thing I did a while back called Comedy at Club 54, where I did Sonny and Cher, Mr. Johnson, Buddy. And then it was the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with Sherman Hemsley, who I missed terribly. Wonderful man. Loved Mr. Johnson. Loved that character. We toured all over, you know, the Caribbean and Canada and the United States
I was
together.
gonna say you were doing some casino shows with him too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, what a great guy. He would stay up all night playing Joker poker machines, the quarter machines.
Mhm.
And he'd just sit there for hours, just sitting. And I'd sit with him, keeping him company, So he was up till 2, 3 in the morning. Nobody recognized him at that point because they're all gone or whatever, drinking. He'd just sit there, boom, 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 boom. But a sweet, sweet man. I miss him so much. Just one of the nicest people in his business. Didn't have a bad thing to say about anybody, which is rare in Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, it's rare anywhere.
Yeah, but he was just, he wasn't Hollywood. He was, I tell people, I said, the character of George Jefferson was so polar opposite to what he was that, he's a good actor to pull that off. Because he was like, hey, how you doing? Hey, we used to call each other, hey, Pete, it's Sherm, what's up, buddy? How you doing? He called me my birthday, I called him his birthday. Sherm, it's Pete, hey, buddy, how you doing? How's Stacy and the kids? Everybody's good. I didn't know that he died. I was on Facebook talking to a friend of mine. He goes, well, I'm really sorry to hear about your friend passing away. I'm like, who passed away? Sherman Hemsley. I'm like, what? He sent me a link to TMZ website, and they had a picture of them taking him out of the house in a gurney. I'm like, oh
my
great.
God.
Wonderful. Even to the end, the tabloid nonsense.
Mm.
And I cried about the rest of that day into the night. I was so upset. I didn't even know he was sick. I had talked to him about a month before, and he didn't let on about anything. But just a wonderful guy, though. Really had a lot of fun with him.
You have branded yourself as a celebrity ventriloquist.
No, that wasn't me.
That wasn't you.
No.
It's an incredible tagline.
Somebody wrote an article about me, and they interviewed me for a newspaper, magazine, or whatever it was. And, what have you done? Like we're doing right now, this and this and that. And then it comes out and goes, celebrity ventriloquist may be a tough thing but Pete Michaels has earned a title. I'm like, celebrity ventriloquist? I said, wow, where'd you get that from? And then I started reading the article, and I'm like, oh, that's where you got that from, because I've worked with so many celebrities. And so that became a tagline.
Okay, well, I tell you, when you read that, I was like, okay, why is he a celebrity ventriloquist?
I don't know.
But that was something I was like, that really stands out when you're looking at because comedy ventriloquist or comedian, but you get that. And
what makes me laugh? Comedy ventriloquist. Like, is there any other kind?
Yeah,
is it like tragedy ventriloquist?
I've seen the open mics. Okay. Well,
no, but who would bill themselves as dramatic ventriloquist? Tom Johnson, I don't want to go see dramatic ventriloquist. I want to see a funny guy.
Yeah, but I was up in Atlantic City with my wife, and we came across a thing where they were talking celebrity chef. And I for a while I was going, well, okay, he's worked, all these casinos and things, so maybe that was what gave him the idea, but that came from somebody else.
Somebody wrote it in an article, and it was the headline. Celebrity ventriloquist is whatever, not an easy title to attain, but Pete Michaels certainly earned it. I'm like, I didn't write that. Where did he get that from?
But that's
and I said, what? Maybe I'll just stick that on my website. What the heck?
Well, it differentiates you. And I think it's smart.
Then a friend of mine goes, oh, well, you're a celebrity. I said, no, I'm not. I work with a lot of celebrities.
I get champagne in my dressing room.
Yeah, right. I get Kool-Aid and a nail. I don't consider myself a celebrity, not by a long stretch. Jeff's a celebrity. Terry's a celebrity. Jay, those guys are bona fide celebrities. But, I'll take the tagline if they throw it on there. And I said, well, it reads pretty good.
See, I can't drag stuff out of my article.
Better than
okay, the idiot behind the microphone. Yeah, well, Tom Crowl.
We've all been called that.
So,
the prop guy with the puppet act.
So now, let's chat a little bit about what happened last year. You were not feeling good, according to Stacy, his wife. Well, first of all, you've got a beautiful wife.
I'm blessed.
Stacy, how did you meet her?
I met her coming home from the Apollo one night, doing one of those Laugh Thursdays. I was going through a separation with my first wife. That marriage only lasted a year and a half, no children. Thankfully, everybody just went their way. It's okay. She never remarried, from what I understand. But she was young. She was 9 years younger than me. She wasn't ready to settle down, And that's okay, Could have thought about that before you said yes. So going through this separation, I was working just to keep from thinking about how lonely I was. So I would, every open mic thing, I didn't care. I would go out, take Woody, and I would just work, So did the Laugh Thursday thing, driving home, and got to Staten Island, And right off the highway was a club which obviously was where they ended up showing my Showtime at the Apollo thing.
Mm.
So my dad normally went there. I said, let me see if Dad's there. It's early yet. I don't want to go home. Pulled in. One of my friends was tending bar. I said, did my dad come in tonight? He goes, no, he didn't. I said, all right, I'll see you during the week. He goes, let me introduce a couple of friends of mine. He goes, this is Anna and Stacy. I worked with them when I was a security guard in their bank. Oh, hi, Anna. Hi, Stacy. So Stacy and I got to talking. There was something about her that just attracted me to her, and personality and stuff. And turns out that she used to go to Host Farm in Pennsylvania as a kid, and she knew Lee J. Nelson, Jimmy's son, who ran the activities. I said, really? I said, you know Lee J. Nelson? She said, yeah, well, how do you know Lee? I said, well, Jimmy Nelson, blah, blah, blah. She goes, oh, why? Do you like ventriloquism? I said, I am a ventriloquist. She said, I love ventriloquism. I said, nobody loves ventriloquism. No woman I've ever met loves ventriloquism. No, I love that stuff. I used to watch Paul Winchell, and I have a couple. I have a Charlie McCarthy and a Danny O'Day and a Mortimer. I'm like, the juror with the upholstery? Yeah. What? Where did you come from? And the weird thing was, Stacy lived in Brooklyn, and had I not stopped to see if my father was there, I never would have met her, because Anna took her out she took Anna out for their birthday. Mm-hmm. I think it was Anna's birthday or something, and for a couple drinks. And had I not stopped in there, I would have just went home. We never would have met.
Wow.
Never would have met. And it was just one of those things that the planets just lined up, and I'm very blessed. She is the click to my clack. She is a wonderful mother.
And you've been how many years?
We've been together for 25. We've been married for 19.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
And you've got a beautiful family.
Oh, God, yeah. We got our challenges.
Well, yes. But
our
every
daughter,
family does.
Our daughter, Diana, was born full term, but she was very underweight. And then we found out she had what they call Vater syndrome. I never even heard of this. VATER, vaginal, anal, tracheal, esophageal, and renal. And basically, she was born with no anus. They had to do a colostomy the next morning and put the bag on and everything. And then they had to do a rectal pull-through surgery where they made a rectum for her and pulled it through, attached to everything. Then they found out that she only had one kidney, and that she had scoliosis, and all these things, pinhole in the heart, and a cloaca, which was the vagina and urethra were sharing the same opening, that had to be surgically corrected before they could reverse the colostomy. And so it was about 8 major surgeries.
Wow.
Yeah. And as a result, she is nonverbal, smart, clever. I call her Dora the Explorer now. She gets a hold of your cell phone or your tablet, and she'll go on Google and she'll search and she'll get the videos she wants to watch. She knows what to do.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And then my son Peter, who was mini-me.
Who is an amazing talent.
Oh, God. I'm telling you. And just a good kid. He really is a good kid. I know a father's pride, but I've seen kids 14 years old that I want to just strangle. Mm-hmm. And he's so not like that. He's a talented kid, plays all these instruments, writes music, does ventriloquism, and is a good little brother to her, his sister.
Well, yesterday, she went into an elevator. And
she took a day trip.
And we were all running around the hotel trying to find her, and his face when he found out she wasn't, with you.
He was terrified.
He was terrified.
Yeah.
And that,
I never saw him run so fast looking.
Oh, he was scared to death. I got to tell you, you've got a great kid, because two great kids, but he is, just so respectful of people.
And he's an old soul.
And yeah, he's got that, and it's wonderful.
And he like you say, very respectful people. He's a type that no, thank you, yes, thank you, please, may I, He's a 14-year-old, and you know what that is. They try to test the waters, 14-year-old. I mean, I was 14, you were 14, you know how it is.
I was not the same kind of 14 he is.
Well,
and you might not have been either.
I don't know. My dad was a martial art grandmaster, and I told the Mark, believe me.
I got away with as much as I could.
Yeah, well, we all push the edge. We all cross this line, cross that line, and then Dad puts his foot down, and there's no more line.
You jump back.
Yeah, about four lines.
Yep.
But he's a good boy, and he looks forward to this every year. Doing the junior Mike, seeing his friends that he's met. He came here first convention. He was 3 months old.
Wow.
He was a little melon head in a stroller. And he loves it. And I don't push him, you know. If you want to do it, do it. You don't want to do it, don't do it. No, Dad, I love it. Okay. Loves Jimmy Nelson, loves Jeff, loves all the guys, you know. Mm-hmm. They all know him, you know, since he was a baby. You know. So, you know, and we do. We have a great family. And now getting to this thing.
So let's talk about this.
Oh, Lord.
What was going on with you that you said, I've got a problem, I need to see a doc?
I would get these dull aches in my sternum area here. Just doing little things like taking the trash out to the curb, taking my walks, carrying, you know, cases and stuff to gigs. And then the pain started going here. Then it started going here. That's when I got nervous. And I said, there's something going on here. I ran into my uncle one morning. I dropped Stacy off at her job, and I said, this is what's, because I knew he had a cardiologist. I said, he goes, don't play with this stuff. He says, it runs, this is my father's brother-in-law. He says, it runs in the family, your side. He says, get it looked at. Let me give you my guy. You call him up and make an appointment. Okay. Went to the office. I said, look, this is what's happening. He goes, okay. He goes, normally what we'll do is we'll start with a stress test, then a nuclear stress test where we inject chemical and make the heart work fast. He goes, then we'll do a CAT scan. He said, but last resort is the where we go and we catheterize you. He said, I want to do that right away from what you're telling me. I said, okay. Gave me some pain medication to stop the chest pains. He says, see me in 2 weeks, come back. We'll do it. Okay, I go back. He said, I'm either going to go through the wrist or through the groin. I said, could you go in the wrist? I really don't want anybody sticking needles down. Okay, went in here. They dope you up a little bit, but I'm conscious. Get into the recovery, and he comes in, and I said, so what's going to be stents? You know, because I read about stents, you know. He says, no. I said, meds? He goes, no. I'm like, now I knew what choice 3 was. He says, bypass. He goes, at least 3. I'm like, now this was the beginning of December. I am booked solid December, January, into the first couple weeks of February. I said, all right, how long is this procedure going to take? He goes, you got to talk to the surgeon. He goes, I'm just a cardiologist. Okay. Now the PA from the surgeon, they must have radar in the place, but we got one. The PA is there, and he goes, we can get you in tomorrow morning. I said, well, who are you? Who are you? Oh, I'm so-and-so. I said, well, do me a favor. Take a walk. I said, I got to talk to my wife. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I'll be at that. Yeah, go. I'm like, I don't want to get... I said, my father had this done. I saw what he went through. They're going to crack me open. And she goes, and my friend's wife was there. She was a nurse for the cardiologist. She goes, Pete, I saw your films. She goes, don't go home. I'm like, come on. She goes, I'm telling you, you're blocked up. I said, I got to think about this. Because now I'm thinking, okay. And I asked the PA, I said, look, if I decide to do this, when can I go back to performing? He says, you can't do nothing for 2 months. I'm like, wait a minute, 2 months? With nothing coming in, no money, no work, no nothing? He goes, you can't do anything, you got to heal. I'm like, I don't think so. I'm like, can I put this off? And they're like, please don't go home. Stacy, my lovely wife, says, you know what your problem is? Now I'm like Joe Pesci. What's my problem? You know, I'm kidding. Now the New Yorker's coming out at me. I said, what's my problem? She goes, you don't know how to put your needs ahead of everybody else's. I'm like, well, duh. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I don't put my needs ahead. You guys come first. She goes, yeah, but if we're coming first, how am I going to explain, God forbid, you don't get this thing done, you go out and do a show and drop dead on stage of a heart attack. How do I explain it to our son? That daddy could have had this operation done, and in 5 hours tops, he would have been like brand new, recover for a couple of months, and would live another 30 years. I said, okay, I see your point. I got it now. I said, all right, call the PA back in. I said, can you get me in tomorrow? He goes, yeah, if you want. I said, let's do it. Let's get it done. It's okay, fine. And the next morning, 7 o'clock, they came up to get me, wheeled me in. I had never been in an OR in my life. I never had a procedure, luckily. I didn't know that it's 14 degrees in there. They wheel you, it's freezing. And I get in there and, you know, my chest looks like 2 pencil erasers sticking up. I'm like, what is this? Cold in here. They're like, don't worry about it. Don't worry, everything's going to be fine. I'm like, yeah, okay. $4 million worth of hardware. I know, because when the bill came, I saw that. And the cardiologist, he's out there waving to me, giving me this, you know. the anesthesiologist guy come in and go, "Hi, we got the masks on. How you doing?" I said, "Okay, I guess, okay. Put your arms out like this on these boards." I'm like, "What are you, lethal injection? What are you doing to me now?" "No, we just got to put you in the right position for the surgeon. We're going to put a line in your neck." I said, "Yeah, that's Swan-Ganz. I know." "Oh, you know about this?" "Yeah, my father had this done." "Oh, you're an old pro." I said, "Not really, but all right." So I'm laying there, we get the sheet over me. Nice heated sheets like a Lexus,
Mm-hmm.
So now the nerves start kicking a little bit. The chemicals are going in. I'm starting to feel nice. And I'm laying there and I'm like, so this Irish nun walks into a liquor store. And now it's like an old E.F. Hutton commercial. They're all like... So I look up and I go, and? I told them the joke. They're all laughing hysterical. And they said, "All right, Pete, we'll see you when we're done. We'll see you in a couple of hours. Just relax." I said, "Oh, don't remember a thing." I woke up in recovery, tubes going in, tubes coming out. Stacy, I open my eyes, I see her at the foot of my bed, and I'm like, and she's like, and I'm like, and then that was on a Wednesday, and I was home on Monday actually, because I was a little anemic. They kept me an extra day, and it's been rough. She called up everybody. I had to cancel all my shows, everything. She had to take a 1 month leave of absence unpaid from her job. So 3 months, no money coming in, nothing, and the bills are coming up. And as you know, we don't have unemployment insurance.
Yeah.
You don't work, you don't get paid. There were some clients who understood, and they were like, "Please wish them all our best." One client, I won't even mention their names, what they were, they ended up trying to sue me for the deposit that I took. And I was like, and now I'm home. I had just gotten home, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? What?" I get an email from a lawyer. "Oh, you canceled the show." I said, "I did not cancel the show." I said, I had all the emails from their contact. I said, "These are the emails from your client's contact. He canceled the show. He wrote me back, forget about the deposit. Don't send it. We understand. What are you trying to pull now?" I said, "I'm recovering from major heart surgery. I don't need this stress right now in my life." Never heard from them again because I saved the emails. But yeah.
So now you were out for how many months? Were you out for 2? Did you get back? When?
3, almost 3.
Really 3? And when did you start performing again?
Probably mid to late February, which was rough. Thank God for Steve Axtell, because he put something up on his website, "Let's help Pete," and put down about the surgery and everything, and people could make a donation. Didn't matter if it was $1. I don't care. And I got to thank everybody tomorrow night when I MC the thing publicly. I had people sending me, I didn't even know these people, sending me $1, $5, $10, whatever it was, wishing me well. People that I did know sent me more, obviously, because there was nothing coming in, and you can't put food in your kids' mouths, There was an emotional thing that went along with that, and they told me about that. They said, the doctor said, "Look, you're going to get bouts of depression. Every cardiac patient gets that post-surgery. And some get it worse than others, but you're going to get that." And it hit me one night because I could not get in and out of bed on my own. I couldn't take a shower by myself. My wife, God bless her, she would have to get in the shower with me to do my hair, to shampoo me. I had to stand with my back to the water because I couldn't get this incision wet. Help me in and out of bed, cook my meals for me. I had to sleep with my feet elevated. I couldn't sleep on my side of my stomach. Taking meds, painkillers when I needed them at night. They say behind every good man is a good woman. I got a great woman that stuck by me, and we made do. We made do only because we love each other so much, and as a family, we're very, very tight and very close. And Peter, I had explained to him. He said, "Daddy, how did this happen to you?" I said, "Well, I asked the doctor that same question, and he says, number one, it runs in your family." I said, "I wish it ran all the way back to Italy." Number two, you're diabetic. Number three, you're in your mid age. He said, and number 4, being an entertainer, you probably weren't thinking of all that junk food you were throwing down your gullet for the last 30 years, working those late night gigs.
It's hard when you're on the road to eat properly. And
it can be done. I found that out now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, late at night, what's open? Mickey D's, drive-through, give me the junk, you know.
Yeah.
And that's
it's hard to eat a salad and drive at the same time.
exactly.
You grab that burger and
Because
yeah,
exactly
down the road.
Eat them fries right out of the container,
Yeah.
you know, like a feed bag.
Yep.
But I learned what to do, what not to do. I don't want to go back again. I don't want them to open me up again. They said it's going to take about a year for everything to heal up internally, you know, the bones and all that. I said, okay, well, I have the year, you know. Put some weight on because 3 months of inactivity, I couldn't walk, I couldn't go. Every time I wanted to go out and walk, another snowstorm.
Yeah.
Like I said, that one night I broke down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's tucking me in, and it was the dead of winter, you know. The kids are all asleep, and I started crying. She said, what's wrong? And I said, look at me. I says, I'm like an invalid. I'm like a little kid. I'm like a baby. I can't do for myself. I can't even get up on my own. I said, you know, why is this happening? You know, my chest hurts, my leg hurt, you know, emotionally, you know, financially, I'm a wreck, you know, and is this ever going to get better? You know, this was like just about a month and a half into the whole thing, you know, and being home doing nothing gets old real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the walls start closing in. There's only so much TV you can watch, and I just wanted out. I wanted to get out and do something. I couldn't. I had to wait it out. You know. So what do? You start thinking of, okay, what bits did I always want to do with this character that I've never done? What characters have I always wanted to do that I don't have yet?
So you're sitting at home. You come up with this new character
In my mind, yeah.
in your mind, and you got it, and he's here.
Yeah, I always wanted to do a drunk character because, you know, Johnny Main did one, this guy does one, and I said, you know, but what? And I had the thing in the back of my mind. I had the character, the name in the back of my mind. Pardon me. Couldn't find the right figure that I wanted. Nah, I won't work. So Conrad Hartz, our friend from World Events, he's got the Facebook thing going, and he posted a picture of this character. And I said, wow. I said, you know, at the time he had glasses on and a tuxedo, and he was some doctor character that he had. And I said, you know, that would make a great drunk character if you took the tux away and the glasses and, you know, ragged them up a little bit. So I got a hold of Conrad. I said, look, I said, if you ever think about selling that little guy, let me know. I said, because I think I could do something. He says, yeah. He goes, you know, I made him for myself last year. He goes, last Halloween. He goes, I really haven't done much of anything with him at all. He said, let me think about it. So he thought about it for a week. And he says, here's the price. Let me know. And I said, I'll take him. And by then, I already had everything in here, the song that he was going to sing and everything. And I was hoping he would say yeah. So he said yeah, and we got him. And we changed his name to Snuffy. My son came up with that because of the way he looks. And I wanted to make him Irish, so we settled on Harrigan.
Okay.
So now there's a song that goes with that, which is a good thing. So he became Snuffy Harrigan, and get him out real quick.
There's now let's slide you in here.
Get over here a little bit over there. Why don't you lift me out so they can see me a bit? I don't know if they can see you or not. Hello there in television land. Nice to see you. Snuffy Harrigan here. Oh gosh. Oh, hello, who's this? Is that Tom? That's Tom Crowl. Well, hello, Thomas Nidai.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Just doing great. Sitting in the suitcase and having a great time. What time is happy hour? No, there's no happy hour tonight. We have the registration for the convention. I'm going to hold you up like this a little bit. Oh, that's even better. I can see you now. Hello. Hello in TV land. Yeah. So this is, let me fix your collar. No, I like it like that. No, don't do the thing. You know what you're doing? Yeah. Actually, it looks better like that. Feel like that.
Looks
like
great.
It fell down a few times. Okay, so what are we doing here? Well, we're talking for the Van Haven Museum. Oh, Dunlyhaven. Yeah, you could say that. All right. I prefer Nanican American myself, yeah. But you're not from America. No. It's an island. Ireland, yes. What part? Alderney. No. What part of Ireland? Oh, Dublin. Yeah. I'm a Dub, you know. Oh.
Man.
So this is Snuffy, and I thought this face really had that drunk character kind of. What are you talking about? Yeah.
That is just incredible work. You know, every time I see a Conrad Hart's figure up close, I'm just blown away by the way he carves.
He uses 5 tools. That's
Yeah,
it.
I know. I did a conversation with him, and we weren't able to video him, but we did it by phone, and we put some pictures of his stuff over top of it, and it's amazing work that he does.
Yeah.
Amazing work, and that's a great character.
This is one of the Selberg bodies. Conrad gave me the body, but I like these little Selberg bodies, the little foam thingies with the hand controls, and this is the shirt that he came with in the pants. But we just put this little jacket and sloppy tie on him. Like, looks like he's been. I've been at the bar, you know, the bar. Oh yes, at the hotel here. Nice place. It's my pleasure.
Did you?
It's my pleasure.
Did you try the bourbon beer?
Oh, I'm gonna try that tonight. Are you? Oh, you know, I had to have a pint or two. A pint. I don't think you can drink a pint of this stuff. It's pretty potent. Well, I like that. Potent is good. Oh yeah. Oh, it's just nice. There's nobody here. Hello. All right.
Well, listen, I want to thank you very much for coming out here, Pete. It has.
You want to go back in the trunk so I can say goodbye to? Oh, goodbye then, hey, then see you soon. Thomas, it's been a pleasure talking to you, me lad.
It's been a pleasure, and I'm sure I'll see more of you soon.
I'm tired now, really. Yeah, late night last night, really. Oh, me and Alcine knocking you were. Yeah, we tied him up. And Dan Horn, too. Yeah, that's true.
Pete, I really, really wish we could do more of this. And we
got a whole convention to sit
We will sit down
chat
and
with each
chat
other.
some more.
That's for sure.
And I thank you for taking time out of your day to do this.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. You know, and anybody who's going to be watching this, if you haven't been here yet, you really, WSA, it is the mecca of ventriloquism. You know, and the art has come so far. It really has come so far in the last, I want to say, 10, 15 years than it ever has been before. With social media, of course, having a big hand in it, but just, you know, the next generation's coming right at our heels. They're there. And they're doing it for all the right reasons. You know, none of these kids are going, I'm going to be rich. That's not what any of us started doing this for.
No.
You know.
And I don't think that many of us have made it that far.
No. I tell people, I said, look, you know, if anything else fails, I can always take the puppet with a portable sound system and go back to working the park, the streets of Manhattan, and make a living. If I had to, I could. Jugglers, no. Magicians, no. But us, stand-up comics, definitely not. But a ventriloquist will always find work if you're good. Will always find work because people are drawn to the puppets.
Yeah.
They see the puppets like, ooh, what's that? And that's why they're all here. They come every year from all over the world.
Yeah.
And new people every year, which is so great.
We've got 100 new people
I
this
love
year.
it. I love it.
It's amazing.
And a lot of kids,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. I love to see the little guys get up there, and girls, get up there and do this stuff, because that's how Jeff started, I started, Lynn Tresker started, Barbara Jean.
You're seeing, when they watch those, you know, those open mics, they're seeing the future.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the guys who haven't been here, you're right. They don't get it yet, I think. And I know they say, well, it's a money issue. But all the pros, you, me, Ken, Mark, Dan Horn, we pass up work to be here.
It's a labor of love.
Yeah, and
It really is.
and when those guys go, well, you know, I really can't afford it. If you save, you can get here, and it's worth so much
If
more.
you really
than
want
really
it,
costs
yeah.
you.
I mean, like I said, 34 years, you know, there's a reason I keep coming back every year. One, first and foremost, we're all family.
Mhm.
This is a family reunion.
Yeah.
This is my second. I grew up as an only child. I've got more brothers and sisters here than I could ever have in my life. Good and bad. There's some people we just kind of avoid because
The
they're
crazy uncle. You know.
yeah, exactly. The one that should have stayed in the closet with himself. But by and large, everybody's here for the same reason. Nobody's here to. There's no egos here. That's what's great. You know, you got guys like Jay Johnson and Willie that just mingle and talk, and you know, and guys like I said, like Jeff. I was in Jeff's first wedding party back in the day. You know, we've all grown together. We were kids together, and now our kids are doing this.
Mhm.
You know, and that's the amazing part. Is that, you know, I keep coming back year after year, looking forward to people, and I told Mark this. I said, after the surgery, I said, I didn't want to come back here as a spirit roaming the halls.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be here in person. And he's like, well, I'm glad you elected to have the surgery. I said, me too. Because I didn't want to be in. And now a moment of silence for our friend Pete Michaels. I didn't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Because we've lost too many good people over the years.
We really
really,
have.
really good people.
We really have.
And I miss a lot of them. And you know, I'm sorry I never got to meet WS. I'm sorry I never got to meet Frank Marshall. Oh God, would I have loved to met him. And a few other people that had gone before. But you know what? We have a wealth of talent and a wealth of ability and knowledge right here at this convention every year. And it's a wonderful, it's a learning experience. I'm doing this all of my adult life, and I'm still learning.
Mm-hmm. And it is an amazing experience. Pete, I thank you so very,
Tom,
very
thank
much.
you so much, buddy.
Okay.
Appreciate it.